We are live. Welcome everyone.
Hey, what's up, the amazing atheist here?
Welcome everybody.
Hey,
DJ.
Anyway, today we're going to try and talk.
Modwin, wait, we have to go through 30 Amazon affiliate links first.
No, we don't. We're going to do a stream on AlJazeera's reporting on the poor people who got arrested during the riots at the inauguration of Trump. And the article is named, "Why Am I Facing 75 Years in Prison?" And then the subtitle, "By Threatening Anti-Trump Protesters with Decades in Prison, the state is attempting to criminalize civil disobedience."
I have to stop you there, because since it was the left doing it, they were not riots. They were just simple, peaceful protests.
Yeah, there are some buildings and cars that have gone up in, the cars have gone up in flames, buildings got their windows trashed and whatnot.
You know what? Cars go up in flames all the time. It's just, they didn't get their flame vaccine or whatever.
It's a law of nature.
This is a car rights issue is what this is.
Yeah, those protesters,
the one thing I found,
protesters, they at least did it gently when they lit the cars aflame.
Yeah, I think they're trying to do the same like with the Black Lives Matter riots. You know, they just discovered a new alternative energy called Black Power. It's just the Antifa dressing in black.
You know, there's one thing I can say about at least riots on the right side of the left, you know, where the 1% is, at least when they make Molotov cocktails, they use good whiskey.
By the way, have you guys read that a Vice article that did talk about extremism of the leftists on the rise?
but it's been on the rise for years now. It's amazing that the media
she means on the right, is it?
Yeah, but it's like now I'm not seeing more articles on it though. Like first I read it from Vice magazines, but there are other magazines that seem to be speaking out on the left more often. Kind of like they talk about how social justice is a caste system that prioritizes who's a bigger victim. And it's from like a left-wing magazine, if I remember correctly. So now the magazines are now beginning to turn on the left, which is very interesting.
If I can interject just a little bit, I have a problem with the phrase left-wing extremism is on the rise, because I don't believe it is. I believe left-wing extremism is just being looked at for the first time.
Not for the first time, in all fairness. Well, it has been a long time.
First time in a while.
First time in a while. Because let's face it, IRA, left-wing, RAF, left-wing, the Salvation Army of the Lord, left-wing, FARC, left-wing. So they're all left-wing. But people kind of forgot that they were left-wing. And
let's not forget the Black Panther Party.
Yes. Anyway.
Left and Muslim, right?
No, that was the black people that rose up.
I'm not sure if the Black Panther was Muslim, though. They did have a lot of Muslims amongst them.
Mm.
But what I find,
they were not a Muslim.
Some aspects of
they did, but I'm not sure how strong it was. I wouldn't know that. But what I did find very interesting, and I'm going to scroll down to do more of the article, but what I found most interesting about this article...
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, mate.
Oh, God.
Can you hear us?
I will. Yes, perfectly. Go on, I'll listen.
So what I did find most interesting about this article is that it's from AlJazeera. And AlJazeera is funded by Qatar. And does anyone here know how easy it is to give any form of protest in Qatar?
No.
No.
It's impossible.
They don't really look forward to you protesting, and you could get arrested and thrown in jail for that. So knowing this, and knowing that these people are from Qatar, how dare they criticize another country for something that they are not even allowed to do? But, well, that's just me.
Well, are they even allowed to read this?
America's supposed to be the good guy, the funny guy.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me they're funding a paper that... I'm a little bit lost here. What's going on?
Anyway, let's start by reading this bit.
Still more credible than CNN.
Well, I mean, when I go to the toilet, what I produce is more credible than CNN.
That is an insult to the shit that comes out of your ass.
But it's still accurate. On January the 20th, during inauguration of Donald Trump, the DC Metropolitan Police Department violently and indiscriminately attacked scores of protesters, journalists, legal observers, medics, and bystanders in the vicinity of an anti-fascist, anti-capitalistic march. The MPD trapped or kettled more than 200 people, arresting them in a single felony riot charge with a boilerplate affidavit. Anyone want to give it a go?
What?
The only thing I can say is that term that they've used, I noticed this very well from Germany when they did that in Hamburg and also in Munich, where they kettled people in that were demonstrating nuclear power plants and like transport of nuclear waste on the public roads. So that has been used before in Germany.
The term kettled has been used before, yes.
As an honest-to-God good American,
the police tactic.
I feel that it is my duty to stand up for the guy who is being wronged in this article. And it is that one protester who got lined up in that group of 200 that got arrested. I can honestly say with all certainty there's probably one person out of that group that was arrested that probably didn't deserve to be.
I got a question. Did we I can agree with what nobody there's just said, but did we somehow delete the phrase collateral damage from our vocabulary?
Yeah. Unfortunately, most words with an extent of 3 syllables or more are starting to slowly get moved out of the vocabulary because they're hard to type with a thumb.
And hard to know what they mean. Yeah, exactly.
It's not that. I honestly have to say I've noticed that my language has started to slowly change the more that I shift into that texting era, because it's just more convenient for me to say words that I more often use, and it's easier for me to type something a lot quicker that just gets the meaning across.
You can't build a meaningful sentence with them on Twitter.
True that.
Because you run out.
Yeah, I mean, people keep forgetting that in Twitter you have that 140 character limits. So you just use this as smallest words as possible.
Yeah, how am I going to eloquently fit 30 expletives into an insult if I can't use more words than more than 2 syllables? How am I going to eloquently tell you how wrong you are with all of these insulting words if I can't use big ones?
Oh God, what are syllables? Too many things.
Anywho, I'm going to kidnap you all, and I'm going to go back to the stream. Fuck Twitter.
Oh yeah.
I want to talk about the next paragraph.
Yeah, the march was an act of resistance against both Trump and the system that gives him power. As part of this march, I was also kettled and arrested alongside scores of others. Nearly 6 months later, I and more than 200 other people have been re-indicted on 8 felony charges. We all currently face the potential of 75 years in federal prison.
Okay, that's 8 felonies each.
Yep.
Yeah.
And none of them is being there.
So I can't help but notice that they've yet to mention what exactly it was they were arrested for doing.
Well,
I'd like that. Those 8.
Can I
give
just
a qualified list? What those 8 were, like smashing windows?
Yep.
Can I just talk about the first part of that paragraph? The first sentence. The march as an act. Yeah, the march as an act of resistance against both Trump and the system that gives him power. What is a system that gives him power?
Democracy. College.
Democracy, the total englobing power.
The system that gives him
Free
power.
elections.
the system that gives him power is a joke democracy.
Well, America
it's still democracy.
No. America isn't a democracy. It's a representative republic.
Public, exactly. Yes, but it's still under the free type of people choose who they want to empower.
Yep,
and that is absolutely true. But
that's what these people were marching against it. Can you guys even see the implications? They were marching against a free system. Not like what's happening in Venezuela.
But here's the thing that I can kind of... Okay, I'm going to do what Real Raven is refusing to do, like he said he was going to. I'm going to play devil's advocate, because I'm looking at this, and I saw that, but in my mind, I guess more looking at it from the mindset on which they're undertaking these actions. And they're undertaking this march under the idea that they believe, because I honestly believe that most of these people think that Russia hacked our electoral system. And we can show to them and we can prove to them that they didn't. I know that. I agree with you. I will openly tell anyone that, and I have to hold myself back from smacking anyone who tells me otherwise, okay? We are on the same page there. But these people are not. So they're marching under an idea in which they believe they're marching for a compromised democracy, or they're marching against a compromised democratic union. That is the idea in which they're on. There is the idea in which I believe they are marching. I'm just playing devil's advocate for that, though. So while you can look at the inferences upon which they're marching, I'm looking at why they believe they're doing it.
Yes, absolutely. It's valid. I concur with you. There's no. I'm just arguing the point that if they are fighting against a system that, let's be specific, technically, theoretically, is super free. Let's say at the best instance, the most perfect system that you can have is that it's free. The person chooses a representative that votes for the leader of your country. Each in the West, we have many variations of that system, and ultimately they are basically a free choice. No one's going to like I was used to this. Well, I was born in the end of it. My father was used to that, where the votes were 99% for the single party. That's not. This is what the contrast that I see, that these people were marching to implement something like that, because they want everything to be like their side.
I can agree with you on that.
Before we scroll down, because I want to make fun of this guy some more.
No, well, let's go. I think I made
Carlo, point. Read his bio thing under his name. What is he?
Who?
He is a social activist and community organizer.
Carlo Piantini.
I highly doubt he's the innocent one.
Of course not. Well, just look at the article, how it's written. It's blatant.
It's kind of funny because he feels that he is unlawfully or wrongly arrested. But they have 8 counts of felonies against him.
I'm sure we're going to get to what those felonies are at some point, but the fact that he failed to mention what they are specifically for bother me.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it. Now, if there would just be 1 or 2, and I can understand that one of them could be being at the wrong place at the wrong time. You name it differently, but that would be one of them.
Yeah.
What about the other 7? Anyway, let's continue.
You mean
next comments have to be some of the ladies. We are not going to become this hostage.
Yes, we must have some of the ladies speak.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes.
Well, Bunny isn't here right now. I'm not sure if Rin is. Rin, are you back?
I'm here.
Awesome.
Well, let me read the next paragraph, and then you're going to be the first to respond.
Modway, before you read the next paragraph, there's something I just wanted to add on a little bit. I've seen this a little bit mentioned around here in America. You were talking about how 8 charges slapped upon everyone at one time. I agree with that. A lot of what I've seen done is what they'll do is if they're grouping people together and charging them all at once, they'll just charge the entire group with everything that all the individuals did. So there might be some cross into just by guilt by association is, I guess, what I'm getting at when they're technically not associated.
Well, aren't Antifa parts of the same group? Like there are somewhat organized, and they do like have these forums where they discuss their method of actions. So I mean,
so it is a little hard to single out a person in a demonstration where everybody wears masks. You know, you can actually blame yourself if you wear a mask and make yourself not identifiable. Then you have to blame yourself for being blamed for the actions of the group, because you basically give up their individuality by putting the mask on. It's like a soldier. You know, I'm part of an army.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, if you were really innocent, would you really be wearing a mask in a hot summer day? Who's gonna wear a face mask in a hot summer day? You know,
I don't know. I mean, I'm being honest. Living in Florida, I wear a beanie all the time, and people criticize me for it. It's just one of those things I do.
A beanie is not a face mask. It's not a face mask on a really hot day.
I like, for example, what Warped is saying in the chat. If you fly with the crows, you get shot with the crows.
True that.
And that's basically it.
For the record, I am the best kind of hipster. All of my music comes before the 90s.
Hey, Sicko, welcome as joining. Anyway, let me continue with the next paragraph. Certain memories of the day of my arrest stand most vividly in my mind. The zip ties cutting into my wrists and the taste of pepper spray. Losing count of the roaches that crawled over me in my sleep. The constant horror of not knowing where my partner was. And he doesn't say it, but this was before they went.
You know, I am pretty sure that he left out the part about being handcuffed by the big, strong policeman.
No, he used the zip ties for that.
He was used the zip ties cutting into his wrists, but I was wondering about the cockroaches. Was that his fellow protesters, or?
Yes, possibly. He's being mean to them.
No, that's the term the liberals use for the hired help.
Oh,
all right.
Because I don't know, but if I look, for example, at police or prisons in this country, you won't find any bugs. You won't.
He was being melodramatic.
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
no,
if you look
at being completely literal.
If you look at the prisons and institutions and correctional institutions in this country, you'll find dozens of cockroaches and black people and Mexicans and Asians and occasionally a white person. And if you go to the female institution, true shit, honest to God, they have a store set up in the female prison outside where I live, where you can go in and you can give the prisoner that you're, I guess, like, you know, at the time it was this chick that I knew, her mom used to go in and give her $50 to buy cookies and shit to put in her cell.
Okay, well,
you don't get that in the male prison.
No.
I wouldn't know. I worked in a prison in the Netherlands, but Dutch prisons and American prisons.
I've never been to prison, but a lot of my friends have. That should tell you something.
I worked there for 2 years. Basically,
it tells me that you're a faster runner than your friends.
You're the snitch.
Exactly. It should also tell you that my skin color is lusciously white.
Oh yeah, but listen, in that case, you want to be careful running away from the police because you're more likely to get shot than a black guy.
True that.
Yes.
I know that.
In America, more white people get shot by the police than black people, which is weird considering that more than 50% of violent crime in America is committed by black people.
Yeah, a lot of the poor get harassed too.
Because the white people don't draw as fast.
Because
the blacks draw first.
I'm not even going to go there. Never mind that. Let's continue. According to a report issued in February by the DC Office of Police Complaints, the Metropolitan Police Department, unleashed a variety of less than lethal weapons against protesters without warning or direct provocation as a general crowd control tactic.
Less than lethal
is a very broad euphemism. Thinking about the violence of the police that day, I remember the footage of an elderly woman brutalized by a river of pepper spray and saved from a phalanx of rioting police by a black-clad protester. I recall a fellow RST in my cell unit with an eye bulging out of its socket like a tomato. The offspring of pepper spray and contact lenses. And now we had to demand they receive medical attention.
You know,
okay. No, I'm going to let Carlos call bullshit first. Go ahead, Carlos.
I call bullshit on the elderly woman.
Yeah, I was about to say that, but then I had an epiphany. A 60-year-old, 70-year-old elderly woman getting assaulted by cops probably has no chance. But then I realized something. An elderly woman to these anti-fascist liberals must be under 40s because no one over 50 buys any of this shit.
Oh yeah.
40-year-olds definitely.
I was sort of going there as well. That the elderly woman, a little bit older, but one of their commanders.
Yeah.
In many videos of that they sort of stand back and organize the troops.
Yeah.
We've seen that from Tim Pool. Tim Pool. We've seen that from Tim Pool. That other aeroplane guy. I don't know what his name is. He's the one that beat up that trans thing. And the kid says, "Stop it, hitting her! Stop hitting her!"
The one that beat up that trans thing.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the trans thing. Because that was not a transsexual. That was a trans thing. I'm sorry.
That's transphobic, sir.
Yeah, that is so politically correct. Are you, Carlos?
I'm not gonna. I don't apologize for what I say. So,
and I don't do political correct either, and I don't expect any of you guys to do. To be honest,
I do politically correct.
No. I'm not politically correct. I'm just correct.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't. They are doing the most disservice to real transgender people, the real ones that are suffering, that are really
suffering nowadays.
They still have a very, very, very high suicide rate. They are suffering. It's been reduced. And they are exacerbating the problem. But we're not fine. Let's get back to the.
Let's go back.
Let's back.
Okay.
I just want to make one little comment about political correctness. When I was a kid, I used to think politically correct meant being right about the politics of a situation. Nowadays, I'm pretty sure. Honest to God, every time I hear politically correct, I honestly think that it's just an excuse to seem better than someone.
Yeah, politically correct basically means I'm wrong, but I still want to be right.
Like, I want to take back politically correct to actually mean right about the politics of a situation and not just full of yourself. Can we do hashtag take back political correctness?
No.
I'll go. I'll do it. I offer my tiny body to the fight. Now that was a shit Scottish accent. I apologize for that.
It was. Anyway, let's continue. Watching the footage from the arrest made me relive the concussion grenades that exploded in the streets. And now, this is where I'm going to stop reading for a second, because we've seen plenty of Antifa protests around. Which people were the ones throwing the concussion grenades then?
They were.
We made a song about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love that song.
Goldilocks.
Moldilocks. That was pretty funny. I am reminded of the mutilation of Sofia Wilonsky's arm at Standing Rock by similar stingers, while the police doused hundreds of water protesters with a water cannon in below freezing temperatures.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm reminded of the man who has a cracked skull because some prick decided to smack him with a bike lock. I'm reminded of the man who got soccer punched. Yeah, by the British. Who got sucker punched by a faggot for wearing a fucking puppy pin. I'm reminded of a lot of wrong done by your side. I don't want to hear shit about complaining. You want to talk about violent acts and mutilation? We can go toe to toe on that shit every day.
Hold on, nobody. This the whole Standing Rock thing. It was later proven that arm got burnt by the less than lethal that the police were using. It is the first time in history that it ever happened, and it's actually impossible for that to happen. Well, not impossible, highly, highly improbable. And it was also coincidental that there was a homemade propane bottle bomb right next to her as well.
Yep.
I believe that. I mean, you know, coincidences can happen. Jet fuel can't regularly melt steel beams, but it did happen.
No. That's another bullshit lie from the media. Jet fuel didn't melt the beams. It heated the beams up. And before metal melts, it becomes... No, it doesn't break. It becomes soft. It becomes malleable. That's the whole idea of smithing. You don't smith by melting the metal. You make it malleable by heating it. Yes. Now, if you have a steel beam and it becomes soft because it becomes malleable, it's not going to hold the construction of a whole tower. So, anyway, sidetracked. Back to this one. I remember the blood-soaked pavement outside the Omni Hotel when the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department murdered Justin Carr with a rubber bullet to the head during the Charlotte uprising last September. But I'm sorry, if it was at an uprising and the police tried to use non-lethal force, that means it wasn't a protest.
If he got murdered by a rubber bullet, it was legitimately an accident because you have to put that rubber bullet into someone's eye.
Basically, yeah.
You have to be beyond. You have to be the worst kind of lucky to kill someone with a rubber bullet.
It does leave a hell of a mark, but
yes, it really does. It really does. But you have to be the worst kind of lucky to kill someone with a rubber bullet.
Yeah, but even if they they didn't intend it because
or dirty hair.
If they would have intended it, they wouldn't have used a rubber bullet. But the fact that the police is using rubber bullets on you means you are not part of a peaceful protest.
It's gone beyond that, in fact. If you have to put down an uprising, either tear gas, water cannon, rubber bullets, what's the next phase up of that? Deadly force.
Yeah. So,
and the West
nuclear reaction.
Not used. That could be the next phase after that.
Yeah. It's just nuke California. No, let's not. But anyway, but even in his own text, the police used...
who killed Justin Carr? Police say they have arrested a 21-year-old civilian, Raquan Borum, in his death. Borum is a felon with pending weapons and past drug arrests, so he was not shot by a policeman.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't.
That changed stuff for you.
That changes a little bit.
Who's lying there? Oh well, it's the narrative. Yes, AlJazeera lies. Another lie.
But
one more.
But the funny thing in itself is, even if the police shot him with a rubber bullet, he himself calls it the Charlotte uprising. Not the protest, not anything like that. No, an uprising.
An uprising?
Which is a riot. Uprising is revolt.
You are assaulting the powers that be in the hopes of changing things.
It's basically
as long as you're peacefully assaulting them.
No. There is no peaceful assault. If you're using assault, it's not peaceful.
Sure, it is. You just have to apologize afterwards.
Nah. I don't have enough black clothes.
You just have to say that you were right.
I'm going to make you share for a second. Come on. Hoppa.
Oh,
there you go. God. So now we're looking at your image.
Yeah, that's Borum, basically. There seems to be CCTV footage that shows him shooting Justin Carr, even though the crowd wants to have it that it was police bullets, but it was actually video evidence. And this guy, Raquan Borum, jail records show that Borum was accused in 2015 of resisting a public officer, possessing a stolen firearm, carrying a concealed weapon, possessing a firearm by a felon, and possessing marijuana paraphernalia and possessing marijuana. Well, that could just be a frame, but he looks.
I don't care about his marijuana one. But did he? So it's considered that he's the one that shot Justin Carr.
He looked like one of those expensive cats with their face pushed in.
It looked like he didn't do nothing.
Yeah, he didn't do.
He says that. Okay, it says up there. It says, where was that thing? No. There was one. Oh, there's actually no. I thought there's a video. The demonstrator who was shot and killed during the Charlotte riots process has been identified as Justin Carr, who killed Justin Carr. Police say they have arrested 21-year-old civilian Raquan Borum in his death. The circumstances of Carr's death have been murky, as eyewitness accounts diverged dramatically, with some eyewitnesses believing that an officer was responsible, and others believing, right, and others disputing that and saying the shooting could have stemmed from gang rivalries. Warning: this post contains graphics, photos, and videos. So there was some kerfuffle around that before the police arrived. Even witness. I thought that it said somewhere that they had it on camera as well. The city initially said on Twitter that Carr was shot and killed by another civilian, not a police officer. Some who were at the scene fervently dispute that.
Well, thank you for looking it up. In all fairness, I didn't even bother to look it up because whether the police shot him or not with a rubber bullet, to me, doesn't really mean anything. Because, yeah, you can be unlucky and be killed by a rubber bullet, but at the same time, if you are being shot with a rubber bullet, then shit has gone down the creek already. I mean, they don't start by shooting rubber bullets.
Here's the one. There is one sentence. That's the chief, police chief. Okay, let's say we leave the police chief for a second. He says that police believe they have identified Borum as the person who allegedly shot Carr by studying business surveillance video. So that might be something. That might be a lead to look into.
Okay.
God, they all look like drug
at least they are nice enough to call it a riot, not just an uprising.
Where is neckbeard?
Gosh. Oh, look, Ann Coulter.
We don't have sound, by the way.
No.
I don't hear anything. I know you can put the sound on, but I don't hear anything.
It's very, very low. Low.
It is? It is?
Yeah.
No?
I don't hear anything.
The other one.
Now I heard something. Now I don't.
I have sensitive ears.
Okay, I made an echo, did I? Did I make an echo instead?
Never mind that. Never mind that.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, is that a neckbeard guy? What the fuck?
Yeah,
it's some eyewitness.
He's white.
Guy.
What the fuck?
Oh, I know what I have to do. Wait a sec. I need to change my output to voice meter. I forgot that.
Yeah, that's why I stopped using that drive, and it just didn't work for me. I need to do another system.
Immediately turned my head in the direction.
Okay, this you should hear now. Okay, let's see.
To all of this himself. James was apparently staring down the barrel of a pistol at one point. He joins me now. Ryan, thank you for being here. So you were in the middle of the protesters. Did you actually witness the shooting?
I didn't see the moment that the shot was fired, but I heard it was a single shot. I immediately turned my head in the direction of the shot and saw a man with a raised pistol turn and run. I didn't get a good look at him because he turned as I turned to look, but I saw someone with a pistol turn around and run.
That doesn't sound like a police officer anyway. They don't usually run away.
No, and it was definitely a rubber bullet, because you know if you're going to go riot, you have to pack your 9mm with that less than lethal rounds.
All right, didn't know that. So,
how far away from you was he?
Maybe 10 yards.
That's very close.
Can you describe the man?
He was a black man with dreadlocks. That's all I can say. I didn't see his face because he turned around and ran right as I looked at him. but
was it a police officer?
Pandemonium. It was not a police officer. I know what I saw, and this was a protester on protester violence.
Did there seem to be any reason why he chose this particular victim?
Well, he probably wanted to loot the shop first.
Yeah, you see, I don't trust this guy because he's just racist. He said the man was a black man.
The man was a black man. Are you sure it wasn't a cop?
Yeah, he should have said a person of color.
Now listen up, white boy. Are you sure you didn't see the boys in blue pull that trigger? You 100%
okay. But I'm going to go back to our original article.
Yeah, that's enough. Unshare me.
This pretty much proves that there is more to it than someone being shot by a rubber bullet, because he wasn't.
This proves nothing, you fucking racist. Get on with it.
Fuck you.
How dare you even look at an article about a black man?
The severity of the threat is intended to extract as many guilty pleas as possible while sending a clear message to potential protesters that the consequences for opposition will be grave. What is wrong with that sentence?
Is that a quote from? Is that a quote from the police, or is that a quote from him?
I think it's a quote from him.
Well, if it's a quote from him, it makes sense because it's fucking nuts. If it was a quote from the police, I might actually be on this guy's side.
But there is one word in this sentence that does not belong.
Protester?
Well, they were not protesters, they were rioters. Fucking hooligans. That's it.
Fucking racist.
No, she can't be. If that was Rin that just spoke, she can't be racist because she's not white.
Yeah, that was funny, Bunny.
Okay.
Fucking racist.
No, but look at the sentence again. But instead of protesters, use the word rioters. The severity of the threat is intended to extract as many guilty pleas as possible while sending a clear message to potential rioters that the consequences for opposition will be grave. Well, if you use rioters, then everyone is like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Of course, that's what I want. So the use of the word protesters in this is very deliberate and very...
It's a weasel.
But now protesters...
Misleading?
Now protest has become more synonymous with riots, because each and every time the left-wing media outlet, and this happens all the time in America, says protest, they mean riots. Like Antifa, setting things on fire would be a peaceful protest. And each and every time people say protest now, especially when it comes to the left-wing media, everybody is now going to think riots. And unfortunately, I mean,
well, Rin, you're right.
I hate this blending of words, turning protest to mean riot, because, it may end up leading to laws banning protests, and legitimately peaceful protests would get banned, because protests and riots has come to me the same thing. Because the media keeps lying. Because like whenever the left talks about protests, I'm thinking about fires, I'm thinking about shooting. I mean, the worst thing comes to mind when I hear protest now.
Well, Rin, you're right, but that's a fault on the individual level, because that's a fundamental misunderstanding of the term and a misuse of it. That's not necessarily because they're becoming synonymous with each other because people are stupid, not because that's what we want. What we should try to do...
The media is doing this on purpose. The media keeps deliberately calling it a peaceful protest, even though there's fires everywhere and Molotov cocktails and whatnot. It doesn't stop the media from calling it a peaceful protest.
Well, that's because the media is trying to push a narrative.
Yeah, that is also true.
But there is also a problem, like, okay, you can keep telling me it's a peaceful protest, but if I see in the background, the cars are burned down, the people are attacked, there's basically, fights everywhere, there's shops destroyed, you can call it as a media, you can call it peaceful protest all you want, but people should think for themselves, seriously.
You know, if you want to see a fundamental idea of what these protests are like, Mundane Matt did a video where he was actually out walking around the Portland, Oregon protests right around, was it like day 5 after Trump was elected, I think. And you get a pretty good idea of what these things turn into. He's just walking around and there are people running and screaming and there are gunshots going off in the background and the police are trying to herd everyone into, a street and get everyone to, basically stop trashing everything. There's yelling and insults and hurling going on, and that's pretty much, point for point, something you see everywhere, quote-unquote, protest is going on.
You know what this reminds me of back when I used to live in a ghetto? Like when I used to live in a ghetto, I mean, it wasn't so bad in my childhood, but as I got older, it just got worse and worse. There would be all of these gunshots outside of my house constantly. And just this one time, outside my house, somebody was playing porn really, really loud. Like it was extremely loud, and people have kids. Like people have like 5-year-old kids. They probably don't want their 5-year-old child to hear porn played on the car radio really, really loud. And I mean, the police were over constantly, not because, they're trying to keep the black people down or whatnot, but the police were there constantly because there were gunshots constantly. There were people constantly getting shot, people constantly getting killed. I just loved, and I moved to a white neighborhood because the white neighborhood was safer.
Hey, they were not there because of gunshots. They were there due to racial bias. Don't ever be apologetic to the police. They're only there because it was a black neighborhood.
Yeah, that's right, Canada. You tell the black woman how to live her life. That's right, Canada. Please, the most devastating thing to come out of your country was snow. And he broke out with Informer. I don't want to hear shit.
Well, they do have poutine, probably the best way to eat chips or fries, as you guys call them over there.
Yeah, but hey, Canada. Hey, Canada. A licky boom boom down.
Yeah, but that
was a good song.
Canada also gave the world the biggest abomination ever: pineapple on pizza. So
I thought you were going to say Bryan Adams.
I thought he was going to say Justin Bieber.
No, that's pineapple on pizza is even worse than those two. Sorry.
Pineapple on pizza
is awesome.
Yeah.
Is the most disgusting, unhuman, insane taste of good pizza I have ever seen.
Let's get back on topic.
Pineapple is best served.
Future.
Okay, let's go back.
The pineapple is best served as a weapon of war from a catapult, not as a food item.
Nobody cares about
why Canada and not why not Hawaii or something? I'm sure there's no ananas. There's no pineapple growing in Canada, is there?
Yeah, but they didn't put it on pizza though. Anyway, let's go back to the article. Sorry. These tactics are not new. In Washington, D.C. in 2002, then Assistant Police Chief Peter Newsham ordered the mass arrest of over 400 people in Pershing Park during protests against the World Bank. The mass arrests ultimately cost the city more than $8 million in a civil suit that ruled it an unlawful act of police misconduct. I've been trying to look into this, and I can't really find a lot of information about it, other than that it was basically an Antifa protest that wasn't really a protest. That was also pretty much a riot. But I'm not quite sure why they got that $8 million in civil suits awarded. Which
if I had to guess, it was probably because it occurred before Antifa was really a major, basically a joke at this point.
Well, Antifa used to be a big problem in Europe already, so... big is maybe too big a word. But...
Well, yeah, but I mean...
Unfortunately, Americans don't pay that much attention to Europe, Unfortunately, I wish Americans did, but unfortunately, Americans tend to live in an echo chamber where we focus on what happens in America and pretty much ignore what happens in Europe. But times are changing because of Twitter. like Brexit was on my Twitter feed, and you have these famous British e-celebrities like Sargon. I mean, he's technically an e-celebrity, where he does talk about the Brexit issue, and people are paying attention. Like Thunderfoots is another, pretty famous e-celebrity, and people know about these issues. I'm just saying.
These
it
issues
also could have been if they did
most Americans as much as some of the other things that they're mostly focused on. Like the typical American person usually isn't really focused on politics, save around election time. We're usually focused on our jobs and families at most, which is what our culture promotes usually. Okay. Like we don't take much of an interest in politics until we need to take an interest in politics, because our country kind of has that politics are a joke. Anyone who takes politics seriously is an asshole. It's all a laughing point. Ha ha ha.
It's totally true. It's totally true. Like, I haven't paid much attention to politics, like, until things got really bad. Like, I ignored it entirely in my childhood, teenage years, early 20s. I just kept ignoring, politics. But as soon as things starts getting really bad, that, like, around, like, 2014, 2015, I think it was 2014. That is when I started paying a lot of attention to politics. And even then, like, I had this coworker. I asked my coworker, like in 2016, like, who's he going to vote for? Trump or Hillary? Trump or Hillary? And my coworker, just wasn't paying much attention. Like, he was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, because he wasn't really paying any attention. So he's like, well, I'll see when it happens. People don't really pay much attention. Like, some people even now just have no idea what's going on and don't really care.
I can't fundamentally expect them to. It's not something that they really file away as important until it needs to be important. And the politics outside of the country are even less so.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one for the moment, because what we see is that the left-wing narrative, basically Antifa, basically Bolshevikism of before the First World War, is making a comeback everywhere in the Western world.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's quite important to recognize things going on abroad, so to speak. Because what's happening in America is affecting Europe. But what happened in Europe is the cause of why Antifa and the left-wing rhetoric in America is so strong. And it is pretty strong.
You mean they have borrowed leftism from Europe? Basically, they're lapping the leftism. They don't really know what leftism is.
I'm not saying they borrowed it, because I do think it's worse than that, because it has infiltrated deeply in American society as well.
But but fundamentally, once this is dealt with, it's just going to go back to no one really caring.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The silent majority doesn't count. So nobody caring doesn't mean a thing as long as the left-wing rhetoric is being pushed forward and no one is standing up against them. Don't get me wrong. We are standing up against it. We talk about this stuff regularly. All of us.
Yeah.
But we are a very small minority.
Sargon has the biggest voice, though. Sargon of Akkad, the Sargon of Milo Yiannopoulos, they had some really big, huge voices. And I do think that Sargon of Akkad, Milo Yiannopoulos, and they had an effect on the elections.
No, they don't. They like to think they do. No, they don't. They don't, no. I mean, Sargon of Akkad, what, 800,000 viewers?
Maybe.
Let's say it has 1 million viewers. How many people are in America? 300,000? Sorry, 300 million?
Now,
what's
how
1
many
million in
voted?
that? That's even less than 1%.
But how many voted?
Indeed. And how many of those 1 million that saw it were actually in America?
I didn't say only Sargon. I said Sargon, Milo Yiannopoulos, and a bunch of people speaking out.
Milo.
But you also get to think about word of mouth too. Like, look at how many speeches Milo Yinnapis spending. Do you think that people go to these speeches and said nothing? There's word of mouth. You know, like people probably don't care about Milo, but they still could spread things through word of mouth.
I understand what you're saying.
A Milo speech and then speak to their families about it, and then that person could speak to another person, and that person could speak to another person, etc.
But that's not how it works. Rin, for example, you know my standpoint on feminism, right?
You're an anti-feminist?
If you want to call it that, fair enough. What is your standpoint on feminism?
My standpoint is that it is flawed and faulty.
Okay, so you talk to other people about it?
Yes.
How many of those people share your view?
Well, I did talk to lots of anti-feminists. I mostly talk to others, but I do think that there are some feminists who are listening a bit, not entirely. They're not sold. They're not, but I think they're taking the time out to listen a bit. You can kind of see this.
Okay, no, going back to what you said first. You are talking to other people, but they are already anti-feminist.
Yes.
Basically, you're talking to people who are already within the same sphere of interest.
Yes.
Therewith, you are basically proving my point. Maybe we are a vocal, but we are a minority. We are a vocal minority.
You're only talking to people who fundamentally already agree with you, so you're not really spreading an idea by word of mouth. You're just confirming an idea that someone already had. So you're not spreading it, you're basically cycling it.
However, I do, you can see that there are people in the feminist community opening up. Like, I have spoken to Criticity a few times. I mean, I haven't changed her mind any. She's still strongly a feminist.
Well, yeah, but here's the other thing. You're fundamentally speaking to them now. The election was like 7-8 months ago.
Anyway, can
I just give the final point of this? As with everything, the news outlets, opinion polls, everything, they fail to take into account the silent majority that swing votes, swing elections. We've seen it in the UK first with Brexit. We saw it in America with Trump. And we will see it we didn't see it in France because that's different. But we will see it in future elections in Germany, in Italy, in Spain, and etc. Wait for them. They will. The majority of people that are quiet and they see what's happening are going to swing elections to where no one's expecting them except people who are taking notice of where they're going.
Maybe. I'm not
sure.
Okay,
wait a minute, Madwin, did you know that Generation Z is like more conservative now?
Yes,
but that's more conservative.
But that's basically, how do you call it? It's a pendulum swing. So you go from extremes to extremes, and the most vocal ones go from extremes to extremes. Majority stays in the middle.
Yeah, how come the moderates never really have the loudest voices?
Because most people don't really care. Thank you. But most people don't care. They don't recognize it. Well, look for example, historically. Hitler was a terrible guy. He started the Second World War, and he had less than 50% of support in his own country.
But he discovered smoking was bad, so go Hitler.
But didn't you also invent heroin?
And he was a big
Go Hitler.
But that's the thing. The majority of people were not in favor of war, but that didn't stop the war. The majority of Muslims are not in favor of terrorism. Somehow it doesn't stop terrorism. The majority of Christians are not in favor of telling people how to live their life. Yet we still have politicians who do so based on Christianity. It's not the majority that counts.
The majority of Christians are not in favor.
But it's not the majority that counts. It's the vocal minorities that shape history and that shape the way people look at things. This is also why the media outlets are so upset when other media outlets show up with a different viewpoint, because it's challenging them. They recognize that it's only a minority thing. It's not the silent majority thing. But the more viewpoints you have, the more the silent majority turns into vocal minority groups. And vocal minority groups are what shapes history. And we're just a small vocal minority as well. And I'm not saying we are right. I'm not saying we're wrong. But we don't. I mean, it's nice for us to think that we can make the world see what's going on.
I just think it just all adds up, like it all adds up, Sarka, Milo Yiannopoulos, then you have the amazing atheists, it just all adds up,
No, it doesn't. That's the thing. Count them up. Seriously, count them up. Look at how much. Okay.
But what you have to say is that you need a subculture in order to create a new culture, right? So I think it's a subculture, and it just starts something. It's the start of something. It's just not there yet. It's who knows. The listenership will grow. It's like with Jordan Peterson. Somebody says something that makes sense and is consistent with it, then there'll be more and more following in until the whole mainstream follows.
But it also doesn't add up as much as you think, Rin. I mean, look, I'm subscribing to Sargon, to Amazing Atheist, I'm dreadful with names. I'm really dreadful. But there is a lot of people who are subscribed to basically a lot of YouTubers they agree with. They share point of view. So that 800,000 subscribers that Sargon has, it's not that within those 800,000, there are also people who make, I don't know how much Amazing Atheists have of the subscribers, but let's say another 800,000 just to make it easy. So it's not like 800,000 plus 800,000 anymore, because those people, it's just like they have subscribed to a lot of YouTubers they agree with. And then there is also the problem as well that what I see that when the YouTuber is saying something people disagree with, then they will also unsubscribe because they think, well, I have to agree with everything you say in order to be subscribed to you as well. That's, to me, it's rather silly. So it's not as big of a number, I think.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
There
are going to be some cross subscribers, but it all ends up like when you dig at Project Veritas. Who knows how many people? Because think about it. Project Veritas, didn't they get like over 2 million views? And like it could be like different people. It could be totally different people who would totally never listen.
It could be different people, but it could also be rewatches.
But the thing is, Rin, and I don't want to attack you on this because I wish you were right. I really do. Mm-hmm. The thing is, the vocal minority, people like us, we need to spread our ideas by sharing it with people who are not part of the vocal minority. And therein lies the hard part, because the silent majority, they don't really
doesn't care. Honest to God, I have tried to have conversations with some of my other friends who are not. They don't give a fuck. They really don't give a fuck. They have made this clear to me on multiple occasions that they would like it if I would shut my mouth hole with quick haste.
Yeah,
if I try to bring them up.
You do have a point, because my coworker was said the same way. Like, he doesn't care about politics. And there are people who made it perfectly clear that they don't care. Not only that, but in the recent election, only 47% of people did not vote at all. 47 didn't vote. So that's a huge chunk of the population who really don't care and would really rather stay out of it. But I do have conversations with Christiosity. She just disagree with me, and she's not changed her mind. But it's a start. It's a start. It's a start.
My last Twitter spat encounter with Cristiosity ended with her insulting me.
What did she call you?
Well, it's not so much that she called me something. It was more like, well, if that's your point of view, then there's no use in talking to you anyway, which to me is an insult.
She told you you're useless.
I am getting more feminist subscribers now. Like, I am actually getting more feminist subscribers, like the Ranting Feminist. After I made a response video to her, she subscribes to my channel, and she says that it's the best response video that she's ever received. And she's glad that
it's because you have boobs.
It's the best she's seen because she doesn't look at anything else.
Come on, that's not fair.
No, I'm not trying to denounce what Rin is making, because I watch her stuff as well. It's pretty good, but it's more a dig at Cristiosity, because she is, in a way, not very open to criticism. Am I saying this politely?
Is it? Yeah, I did your stream of Curiosity, which I was listening to be honest, and I was really paying attention. And what pissed me off is that too many times contradicted herself, and just when you would get a certain question that she would actually see where the conversation would go, she did her best not to answer that question, change the direction of the conversation, and that's to me not being honest, not manipulating conversation like that. So I didn't even bother to, watch her more stuff or something, because I'm like, yeah, that's no point for me anymore.
Anyway, let's continue with this article. I love this discussion, by the way. I really do. And I think the true clue for us is trying to reach people outside of our community.
Quote unquote.
I personally think that I'm doing a pretty good job at it, because, again, Ranting Feminist said that she liked the response video I made to her. She said I did a very good job, and she said that I don't know if there's going to be one or not, but she said that she'd like to do a live stream with me.
Well, that's cool. I wish you good luck. I would love to help you if you need it, but no, I wish you good luck. By the way, I'm not sure if you want to know this real, but Cristiosity basically said, well, it's good to now realize I can discount you. You are a very silly person. Now, the silly person part I don't care about, but when you say I can discount you, basically you're saying, your voice doesn't matter. Yeah. Which, to me, is the bigger of the two insults. Anyway, let's go.
Did she say that to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was having that conversation.
Argument
So
you were
can
using.
confirm.
It's terrible.
I am really not. I don't pay attention. I'm really out of touch, honestly. Wow.
Well, it's kind of funny, but
don't worry. You've missed nothing if you're out of touch with Cristiosity.
True that.
Yeah. No. Yeah, exactly. It's not surprising
It's
coming
terrible.
out. So, okay, continue.
Anyway, let's go back to the city. The article, sorry. Acting Police Chief Newham also issued the order for Inauguration Day mass arrests, despite the specter of yet another brutal mass arrest. Newham was appointed police chief by DC Mayor Muriel E. Bowser and the DC Council in May. And I wasn't quite sure, and I'm going to check it just to be sure, but I had the feeling that the mayor of DC, Washington, was a Democrat, wasn't she? I think it was a she as well. Look at that. Does anyone know this by heart, or do I have to look it up? I have to look it up, I guess.
Though I am glad we are all having such a lively conversation.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I really don't want people to think I'm digging at you, Rin, because I really do enjoy the stuff you make, because we need to try to get more people to talk, and if you have a way to reach certain feminists, then yeah, maybe you can help them see things differently. So this is important.
It's highly unlikely, but I think we all understand different points of view. It's not an quote unquote attack. You're just saying, look, I have this point of view. Your point of view has parts that are correct. My point of view has parts that are correct. Trying to get the middle ground, basically. So.
Anyway, I can't find it really fast. I'm sorry. My Google powers are pretty weak today.
Yeah, let's get back to the article.
I'm pretty sure that DC Mayor Muriel E. Bowser was a Democrat or is a Democrat. Anyway,
DC is a total Democratic place. Yeah. District of Columbia, it's got a mayor because it hasn't got a representative.
Yeah, because they don't have a voice.
Yeah, it's democratic. The police chief is democratic. The judges are democratic. It's a democratic heartland, pure democratic.
So I'm really curious because last time they in 2002 they indeed won a civil suit, but I'm really curious if that will happen now, considering the mass destruction caused by the inaugural riots.
Exactly.
With a pending lawsuit challenging Newsom's abusive practice, it remains to be seen what he will cost the working people of DC this time. A civil suit has already been initiated by the American Civil Liberty Union, ACLU, which is by far the biggest racist organization in America. And the current investigation into police conduct will cost approximately $150,000, which is $50,000 more than the estimated damage of the alleged events on Inauguration Day. And that's not true, because the costs, it was estimated to be more than a few million.
Moderator, could you explain what you mean when you said that the American Civil Liberties Union is the most racist union?
Yeah, yes, it sounded like you were reading it from the article, which you didn't, right?
No, I'm sorry. No, I didn't. But they are.
You should.
They are.
I don't see you. Sorry, I don't see you sharing it. Are you sharing it on the stream?
Oh, did I turn it off? I thought I was sharing it. I am sharing.
I see it.
But yes, the fact that I said that they are the most racist one, that didn't say that wasn't in there. But the ACLU is a strong proponent of positive discrimination, of affirmative action, and of what's the third one? I forgot it. Basically, the ACLU promotes the idea that people of a minority status have less agency than people of the majority status.
So is it like similar to what feminists believe in? Like, do they believe?
Yeah, it's just a black version of it.
Yes, it is. It is completely the same thing. It takes away agency of people. Basically, it tells people, for example, oh, well, you're black, therefore you are less good at finding a job. Or remember that a few years ago, they were talking about how that you had to identify yourself when voting was a racist thing because it was mostly black.
Look, there were even so many black people who were pissed off at that. Like, there were even.
But it came from the ACLU.
Like, let's like a kid an ID. Like, what kind of an idiot is a kid getting an ID? You know, Francesca Ramsey of MC.
But that came from the ACLU.
Black people angry at her. Huh?
That came from the ACLU.
That had to quite possibly be the single greatest instance I have ever heard of the enraged black mother trope.
I was gonna say Rin was articulate.
Oh my god, I love that. 10 out of 10 would listen to it again.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I love Rin so much. Oh man.
Oh, that
was. Are you talking about a video or just now?
No, just
that
now.
literally just finished my life.
Yes.
So that's why I call the ACLU basically the biggest racist organization of America.
All right.
Because they make everything into a race issue and basically say, Well, but we need to do this because we need to help the black people because they are ignorant and stupid and can't do anything themselves.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, back up. I am not ignorant and stupid. Like, okay, I'm hardworking. I just don't really care for affirmative action. I think it's really stupid.
Yeah. I think that the white man needs some affirmative action.
No one needs affirmative action.
I think that it is time.
Nobody actually needs affirmative action, but I think where the left is coming from is that the left says, or at least from my conversations with them, is that nobody presents an alternative solution. So
no, I don't.
Huh?
I'm nobody.
He's making a joke. A not very funny word joke.
Hey, it made you laugh, so fuck off.
But anyway, does it make sense why I call the ACLU a racist organization?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense now. Like I just didn't know much about them. Like, what I have heard about them is from Tim Pool that they were actually fighting for Trump supporters to be able to speak like the government was going to shut Trump supporters down. And the ACLU were like, hey, no, Trump supporters have the right to speak too. We disagree with them, but we would allow Trump supporters to speak.
Yeah, they're not always bad. I'm definitely not saying that. Anyway, let us continue. Where were we? Here we are. To understand the extremity of charges brought against us in this case, the arrest needs to be viewed through the lens of political repression. Across the country, thousands of people are engaged in resistance against the daily operations of the capital and the state, fighting to survive the crisis that this system constantly produces. Almost immediately after our arrest, thousands of people occupied and shut down airports to reject what has become known as the Muslim ban. Camps have formed in Florida, Pennsylvania to blockade the development of Sabal Trial Pipeline and Mariner 2 Pipeline. An encampment has formed outside of the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma. I'm not even going to read it anymore. Basically, what he's doing here is listing up how they are fighting the system, which they were already doing. Some of it was already being done under Obama. But when it was being done under Obama, nobody cared. But now suddenly the problem is because it's Trump and this political repression.
Realistically, a lot of the things that people have complained about nowadays are because Trump.
Yeah, but they're blaming Trump on these things. It's like,
can someone turn off the music, please?
Turn it up.
No, off.
Which music?
Yeah,
turn it up.
It was.
No, but
distracting.
If we look, for example, at Obama, when Obama was inaugurated, and he was just in power, every negative financial aspect was because of Bush. I mean, he had to clean up the mess of Bush, blah, blah, blah. Fair enough. Could be true, could be wrong. I don't have the numbers by heart at the moment. But now we talk about Trump. Everything Trump is doing is bad. If we look at the pipelines, the Mariner 2 and the Sabal Trial pipeline, he didn't start them. He's taken them over from Obama. If we look at the Muslim ban, it's literally a law written by the Obama administration in 2015, and it was used in 2015, and he wanted to reinstate it, and now suddenly it's a problem.
Yeah, they just the left just said that Obama just made a mistake, but they were nice about it with Obama though. But they're now changing the rhetoric. Like if you listen to Sean Oliver or people on the left, they give you a nice, very weak. Obama just made a little mistake. That's all it is to Obama. But with Trump, it's like the worst thing ever.
Well, yeah, Obama did make a little mistake because all that glorious melanin in his skin gives him the foresight to know what he's doing is a mistake. So therefore, we must treat it as such.
Well, yeah, but that's, again, the racism of low expectation. Which is weird to use on a president, to be honest.
Yeah, they're just much nice about it when it comes to Obama. Like, even the guy, what's his name, John Bonifield from Project Veritas said, like, if the left gave Obama the exact same scrutiny, you know, that they give Trump, the left wouldn't like it at all, because it just would be nothing but a nasty, blatant attack. And yet they can't see why Trump supporters are sticking by Trump, because a lot of what the media is doing is unfair. I mean, it's kind of a lot like getting so angry over a meme. It's like, it's just a meme, get over it. I don't see how Trump's tweets are news.
Rin, I'm going to need confirmation on you from something. Did you say that name was Chun Bonerfield? I swear that's what I heard.
John Bonifield. Isn't it John Bonifield?
John. The rambling. Ears, man. Get them clean.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's get back.
Okay. This is really funny, because he basically says, none of this resistance can be tolerated. The state's main social function is specifically to suppress public outrage, either by redirecting it into pre-configured campaigns or through political repression. And this is the thing. I disagree. We are allowed to show public outrage. We are allowed to protest. No, we are. We are, however, not allowed to use violence.
You know, I believe, I could be wrong, and my history could be screwed up. You know, I am a white man after all, but I believe there was a man that we called Martin Luther King Jr., who was famous for his peaceful protests and wanting to demonstrate that they could be civilized and that they could be better people, and that they were trying to prove that by being better people that they could actually do something. But no, I must be wrong, because clearly everyone should be shot and beat up and beaten with bike locks. And yeah, I'm clearly wrong, right? Canada, right?
The left hates
You are
Martin Luther
absolutely
King,
wrong.
man.
Quit being goddamn racist.
The left hates Martin Luther King now. Like, they don't like Martin Luther King so much. I mean, listen to Gazi Koso or Black Hitler talk about Martin Luther King.
Don't you dare tell me to listen to Gazi Koso. That motherfucker lives 20 minutes away from me.
Wait, somebody
and you haven't gone over there and beaten me to a pulp yet?
No, my sister went to Gay Pride, and I asked her specifically to look for him.
You won't be there.
Could you repeat that? Was that actually
homophobic?
Hold on. Were we actually told to listen to Gazi Kodo in a serious note, or was that sarcasm that went over my head?
Sarcasm.
I was just saying that the left doesn't like Martin Luther King. You know, not that much anymore.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. He despises him.
Yeah, Gazi Koso despises Martin Luther King, and even Computing Forever had this show called Regressive News, where he says that where the left were complaining that Martin Luther King wasn't intersectional enough.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
He didn't bring up trans issues.
Well, no, of course not. He was actually concerned about shit that mattered.
No, but that's the thing.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point that the left doesn't like Martin Luther King as much anymore.
No, but that's because
I agree with you. I'm just commenting on the.
Martin Luther King was a person who spoke about the agency of people. He didn't do what the left is hoping he would do. He's not someone who went into the victimized status. Another thing, Martin Luther King was an American black man, and he was highly religious. how do you think Martin Luther King felt about gay people?
He didn't care much
like
about
them. He was very conservative, yes.
He was very conservative. So he didn't like them at all, which is an inconvenient truth.
And it's fine. It's, you know, it's the time he was raised in. I can't hold it against him. But
listen, I disagree with that attitude. I won't hold it against him at all. I mean, you don't have to like certain sexualities. I don't care whether you do. But I am pretty sure that if he would have lived now, he would still not be in favor of homosexuality. He was,
he's entitled to that.
Martin Luther King was a conservative. It's kind of like Ben Shapiro. He's a great guy. Ben Shapiro's really smart, but he's still conservative. And Ben Shapiro takes issue with gay marriage and gay adoption. He's a smart, brilliant man, but Ben Shapiro is still conservative. Martin Luther King is conservative.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're both right. But my only point is that he's entitled to that opinion. I can talk to him about it, and there's no reason that I cannot physically force him to change because that's the time that he grew up in. He's entitled to hold that opinion. I can't. That's my only point there.
No, I think he would have the same points even if he grew up. But I understand.
He probably would, and he is entitled to hold them. That was all I was getting at.
Indeed. You're right. Shut up. You're right. Let's continue though. But what Standing Rock and Black Lives Matter have told us all is that if a community's resistance is perceived as effective, then the full measure of state violence will be used to neutralize it. Standing Rock prevented the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline for months before its eviction by legions of police. The execution of Mike Brown and Freddie Gray produced demonstrations as such. Tremendous pain and outcry that they seized Ferguson and Baltimore and were stomped out by the National Guard. Just don't mention the fact that they were rioting and people in Ferguson and Baltimore were afraid of their lives. And shops went up in flames.
It caused so much pain and outcry that the Transformers in the streets literally cried flames out of their seats.
Yeah.
There was so much pain and so much outcry that those buildings that just went up in flames couldn't stand to be in a town that was that outcried and that filled with shock. There was so much pain and outcry that people were getting beat up in the streets, and with the pain and outcry that was left all over their face. Oh, America.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get this. I mean, he's actually talking in favor of rioting.
You know what the hard reality is he said the violence of the state will be met with the utmost violence of the state. You know, the only reason the state would meet you with violence is if you are coming at the state with violence.
Yeah.
They meet pound for pound what you bring to the table. And if you bring to the table the means to destroy, threaten, and terrorize the population in which they are sworn to protect, they will meet you with that without prejudice or with prejudice.
Yeah.
They do not care. And quite frankly, neither do I. If you are going to cause pain, harm, and terror to the citizens of this country, this state, this town, whatever it may be, I hope that they don't hold back.
Yeah.
I don't care. You deserve everything that is coming your way. And you need to get the fuck over it, man up, and take it like a man. Not whine about it on the internet. You fucked up, you're going to jail.
Are you assuming my gender?
Yes, I am. Fuck you.
In my mind, this guy is since the only person speaking favorably of riots. Even MTV also spoke favorably of riots.
Yeah, which is a very scary thing. But it's even worse. I mean, the next paragraph, he's actually telling what they did. For example, the events of January 20 represented a similar disruption. Again, you are disrupting society. This is an act of aggression.
Yeah, it is.
The march shut down the roads of DC. People should be able to use the roads of DC. You're blocking them from using the roads, which is a form of aggression.
If you're going to block the streets, you need a city ordinance, motherfucker.
The magnitude of the Police Department's violent response shattered the fragile spectacle of the inauguration. No, it didn't. Most people learned of it later. Business as usual was put on hold. No, it wasn't, because the inauguration still continued. And the consequence is that everyone rounded up and arrested must now be made an example of. No, you make an example to show that rioting and breaking the law is not allowed. Not that protesting is not allowed.
Quite frankly, the most important thing that I noticed on Inauguration Day, the day of, was the chick screaming in the crowd going, "No!" Who I'm pretty sure was a dude in drag.
Yeah, he was.
No, it was a woman. It was a woman.
What?
Here's a question.
Really? That must have been the ugliest woman in the world.
That was a
She was old,
fucking
man.
dude. You were lying.
Once they hit the wall at about 45.
No. I mean, she must have been hit by something faster than 45. She was so fucking ugly.
Have you seen what happens to women once they get indoctrinated by Marxist, that critical theory, feminism, and they look at Miley Cyrus. Look at
what?
Katy Perry.
I have seen what happens to elderly women who get indoctrinated by all the shit going on in society. And you know what happens to them? They get
ladies.
They get sick, they puke in their glasses, they throw up, and they require help getting into their limos.
Yeah.
They become cat ladies. That's the pose.
It is kind of funny though that in the last 40 years, feminism has achieved many a goal apparently, and yet still female happiness has been dwindling ever since. So sidetracked. I'm sorry. Let's get back to this one.
Do you know why it's dwindling? Because they have to work.
They feel they have to work.
Back to the article.
Yeah, not everybody wants to be a career woman. Like, not everybody, because I remember, like, listening to Computing Forever talking about working, like, I don't know, 80-hour weeks, working in a cold cubicle and doing tedious, unpleasant work. And, I mean, why would you want to do that when you could just, chill out with your kids?
Be quiet, Rin. You need to go to your secretary job in the morning. So sense feminism.
Anyway, the succeeding indictment is an additional felony charges are means to coerce defendants into accepting plea deals against their will. The goal is not to convict people to 75 years in prison. The severity of the threat is intended to extract as many guilty pleas as possible while sending a clear message to potential protesters, again, whenever he used protesters, rioters, that the consequence of the opposition will be grave.
Realistically, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that if you say they're rioters. But the fact that you're poisoning the well with this protester nonsense kind of makes it sound like you're the innocent victim being, slaughtered by the state. But the reality of the situation is, with all the shit that you people cause, you deserve everything that's being thrown at you.
I did they're trying to conflate, like I did the media, the left-wing media definitely tries to conflate rioters and protests because, like whenever you look at Antifa, the left-wing media pretty much always says it's protest. They never call it a riot. Like even with Black Lives Matter, they always say it's a protest. They never ever will call anything the leftist a riot.
Just looks to me like they want to persuade people to take the fucking masks off and act more like individuals and less like a mob.
Well, I mean, I don't mind
the upshot of it, Yeah,
I don't mind people
if you all say you're guilty of this shit because you were wearing the mask, then maybe you'll think of it better next time and try to act as an individual again.
Yeah,
there are some
allowed. You are not.
There are some cities and states that you can't cover your face. Isn't there in America?
There are some laws, yes.
I don't know, but it is wrong in today's day and age to expect personal accountability for your actions. That's just wrong.
You're fucking nuts, kid.
Yeah, but that's true, though. I mean, it seems that being responsible for your own action is completely alien to these people. Which is scary.
It is. Equality equals agency plus responsibility.
Yeah. And they don't want the agency. They definitely don't want the responsibility.
But they want the equality.
So they
fuck you people.
Yeah, but they want the equality. But exactly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
you have to.
Unfortunately, if you want to play the slots of life, you have to put in your quarters.
Yep. Unless they're fake.
Yeah, well...
Carlos, stop trying to cheat the system. Shut up. We don't tell them about that.
I'm Portuguese, man. We try to cheat the system every.
Yeah, well, stop
day.
telling people about the fake quarters. They're not supposed to know.
Okay, let's continue a little bit.
I gave you that white privilege quarter in secret. Damn it!
What did you give that to Carlos? Carlos isn't white. He's Hispanic.
I'm not white.
How dare you?
No. I'm Celtic.
You're Celtic. Okay, fair enough. Oh, but Celts are white. Oh, fuck's sake.
But I have Neanderthal, so I am excused.
But I gave
These are a different race.
I gave him that patent pending white privilege quarter so he could cheat the slots of life.
we were. I am in my country. I am the minority. So south of me, the majority are olives. They're darker skinned than I am. So, I'm being oppressed.
Anyway, let's continue. We're nearly at the end, and then the funny stuff.
You know what? Now you're being oppressed. Now you're being oppressed.
How can you do? Oh, that's not nice.
Did you just mute him?
Yes.
Yeah, he can turn it off himself. I didn't know you could do that.
I know. It's fun. I never take it personally.
I never tried.
Anyway, let's go on. The intention to set a legal precedent for mass arrest in this area of constant crisis is so that future social movements can be smolded in the cradle. Basically, what are you guys on? Okay, regardless, we were 6 months into this case, and hundreds of defendants have committed to pursuing trials in a round of status hearings. This month, the growing number of defendants have committed to rejecting pleas that aren't universally offered to all co-defendants, and over 100 have agreed to reject any cooperation with the state. Fundraisers have been organized by defendants and defense committees to gather the funds for legal and travel court. Mid-Atlantic General Defense Committee has initiated a support campaign to drop the charges, which probably won't happen. When repression strikes our community, solidarity becomes our strongest defense. And here we have socialism.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. We are fighting for our community. No, you're not. You're fighting for your ideology.
Yes.
If it's for the community you're fighting, you wouldn't have destroyed people's private property.
They burnt a limousine of a migrant, a brown person, livelihood.
Yeah. He bought it so that he could do his job. He had his own job, his own company, traveling, driving people around in a limousine. That's how he made his money.
That was his
job. You mentioned you mentioned earlier that there was this article was basically a conflation of civil disobedience and rioting, and I feel very much so this is more a conflation of an ideology versus a community. The community is not the ideology.
No, they're actually pushing for their own ideology, and they want their ideology to be directive for the community, but it's not.
Yeah, and it never will be.
I hope so, but there have been countries where they have been. This reminds me of that one sentence of that song I made a video clip of not too long ago. Give us your freedom and we'll give you hell.
I'm not giving you my freedom.
But that's what they're asking for.
No, they can't have my freedom. My freedom to wank in my living room at 3 a.m. with pizza coming on the way is my freedom, and they can't have it.
As long as the pizza comes before you.
Oh my God!
That is That just made the stream.
But he makes a good point though, because if the pizza comes and then you come whilst holding the pizza.
Well, I'm not eating that pizza, but my girlfriend might.
Oh, God. This stream is the best stream I've been on for a long, long time.
I just literally started crying, laughing.
And I'm not even drunk. Oh, God.
Okay, those relations and bonds of trust have the power to resist this political persecution, and we will continue to organize a collective defense together. Collective community. It's all about, well, socialism. I'm sorry.
You know, if
there you have it again. You know, they're against the collective. They're against collective punishment, but they want collective defense.
But if I had an idea to give imagery to this, has anyone seen Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know the ending where all the ships are getting together and making that giant shield against if we just label that giant shield reality, and then we just not the giant shield reality. If we label the giant ship reality, and then we label the shield social justice, I think you know.
More or less. Just to end, he says he at the end, Carlo. Oh God, that's one Italian fucking cunt.
Carlo
Piantini
gets through.
He's a social activist, a community organizer, and a political defendant. He's not a criminal. He's a political prisoner.
Yeah, indeed.
Fuck off! You're a petty little piece of criminal shit. A vandal, a rioter. A disturber of the peace, and I hope they throw the book at you.
Yeah.
You know what happens to political prisoners? When they get released, their brain goes missing.
No, they didn't have one to begin with.
The opposite. Yeah, they didn't have one at the beginning. That's what I was going to say.
I was making.
Anyway, I'm going to continue because these are the things that really make it funny.
Oh no!
The responses. Now, the top one. I mean, the top one is only 10 minutes old. I'm sure I don't know what you mean by protest. Breaking windows, looting stores, burning cars.
yeah, exactly. Nothing like that.
That's not a protest.
There was another. I'm going to show them one by one. Your big mistake was to have your protest turn violent, resulting in the destruction of private property and injury to others, including police officers. It's all captured on video, so there's little to argue against. While I totally support your view, and I am as opposed to Trump as you are legally in a weak position. No good turning on the millennial whine now. I have to admit with him.
Oh man. You know, if I had one idea from that entire comment, I am going to create a brand of wine. I'm going to call it Millennial Wine. Okay. I'm going to create a brand of wine. I'm going to call it Millennial Wine. And you're going to open it. You're going to open it. You're going to open it. You're going to take a drink. And after a few seconds, you're going to realize it's flavor carbonated water. And then you're going to look into the bottle. And at the bottom, it's going to say, you can start whining now.
Wine.
It's probably most likely a Chardonnay. They love Chardonnays.
Okay.
They love pussy drinks.
I'm going to scroll through the comments though. If you see something you like, let me know.
I don't see any comments, man.
I'm still broadcasting, aren't I?
Oh yeah. No! Oh yeah, but I mean on the actual article, there's no.
No. If you have to click on comments to see them.
Oh yeah, don't comment.
Another almost graduate of Sesame Street's Resist and Revolt School of Cupcakes.
I'm sorry about that, guy. God, I'm stupid. Jesus, I'm stupid.
You know, if I ever needed like an anthem for this, if we can go to Judas Priest and pull up Breaking the Law.
Yeah. I can accept that. Yep.
Yeah.
There's someone saying there's someone saying, and I don't know if this person is fucking serious or drunk, they were protesting peacefully. That's a right, not a felony. Where the fuck did you go? What did you watch on the internet, on the TV? I mean,
we are actually live influencing this.
Are
Look
we
at this
really?
comment. I'm sure I don't know what you mean by protest, breaking windows, looting stores. Who did that? Come on, chat. Who did that? Come on.
but this whole article, it's not so.
I added my own comment on top now.
I'm a really a poor person. I'm so, I'm a victim in this. No, I'm really sorry. Here's the thing. If you go to the protest and you do this shit, you have to be arrested and you have to face the consequences. And even more, if you go to the protest and you identify with those people or you seem to the police like you part of the group, even if you don't throw the fucking stone, they still can arrest you. And this is just how it is. So, yeah, it's really lost of words.
So, okay.
What country are you from?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
What country are you from?
The same one Mobway's from?
Yeah,
No.
that's Smart Wayne's. Well, no, but that's Smart Wayne's girlfriend, really.
Yeah.
But originally, I'm from Poland.
Yeah.
Oh, funny, you're from Poland?
Yes.
But she's living in
I couldn't really trace your accents. I never heard your accent. Like, I never heard that type of accent before.
I believe you. Sorry, I was just
You can blame Germany for that one.
Yeah, we didn't finish what we started.
I think it's the problem that I never really learned English, and then I learned Dutch, and the accent for me now took place. I even now make do wrong accent in my own language when I talk to my son. So yeah.
Okay, so
accent before.
I have so Infinite Canada. If you're reading this, I will tell Modwayne, stop. Scroll up.
What?
Thank you. If you're reading this, I will tell you why you face 75 years maximum and probably not nearly that much in prison. You committed of your own accord numerous felony crimes. If you cannot bear the thought of inhabiting a prison cell for a long period, do not engage in anything but a peaceful protest. You have the right to that, but abusing the right to peaceful protest will end up with you serving time. Don't you ever get sick of eating beans? What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
What?
That's literally the next comment. Don't you ever get sick of eating beans?
Well, they eat a lot of beans in prison. Like, I talked to a guy who knew a guy who went to prison, and the prison he went to, there is a lot of beans in that prison.
True. Well, I talked to this guy who knew this guy, 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 who knew this guy's cousin who went to prison, and he said that prison doesn't have any beans at all.
Yeah, but for me, it's kind of a lot like I don't know a guy who knows that guy. I know it's a guy. I know a guy like immediately, like a guy I went to like school with, and a guy he knows really intimately. Well, not that
really
intimately.
intimately.
He ate a lot of beans in prison. Like,
I feel like
maybe I was just pointing out that talking
like Chick-fil-A in prison. Chick-fil-A, that's the one. Chick-fil-A. I thought they served that in prison. Yeah, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A? I don't think prisoners eat fast food restaurants.
I know.
Actually, this comment, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to bring it back a little bit. I like this comment a bit. No, you seem to be confused. Civil disobedience would be a peaceful protest. On the other hand, destroying property is a misdemeanor, and attacking people is assault, which is a felony. Those are crimes punishable by law. All you are entitled to in those instances is a phone call, a lawyer, and the opportunity to appear before a judge. You really, really need to learn the difference. Protest never warrants harming other people, and violent behavior has always been subject to legal ramifications.
It's always been subject.
Okay, that is a very well thought out and very well spoken comment, very well typed comment, but it is fundamentally wrong in one area, and that invalidates the entirety of his whole argument. And I have to, I physically cannot, I can't accept anything he said because he got this wrong. Okay.
Okay.
You get 3 phone calls, not 1.
All right, but that's not true because the movies always show me that you get 1.
Well, you know what? Hollywood is the reason social justice is as big as it is. So do you really want to believe the movies now?
Hollywood lies to us?
I know, right?
Shut that actor's lie.
Next, you're going to tell me Christopher Reeves never actually flew.
He did, though. I know.
Yeah. The tagline was, "You will believe a man can fly." And I do.
Anyway, so we could go on with these, or we can start talking about something else. What do you guys want to do?
I think we could start talking about something else.
Oh, God, I thought I read here Richard
What? Where?
Pierce, but it Pence, that Richard Patterson or something. You know, that white supremacist.
Yeah, Richard Pierce. Yeah.
I thought it was him, but it's not. It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
The name. I'm drunk enough. Jesus, I ran out of beer. Fuck.
I'm going to stop presenting.
Okay. There was one other comment that I had an issue with there.
Yes.
Okay.
Which
and
one?
this is just one of those instances where I'm going to call out someone who I think is going just a little bit too far, and it's that Don dude. He says, "I hope they hunt down and arrest every Black Panther BLM and their fellow travelers, and I hope organized gang members erase them in prison." That is a little bit too much. You want to get the Italians on that shit. At least they make it go away.
I just serve them some Italians. They're easy to play. Oh, the Italians are cool.
We could introduce him to Modwayne, and I mean, he could, I don't know, fuck with their heads.
Well, you can introduce everyone you want to me, mate.
Yep.
Hey, you want to meet Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah, you're sure. I got a few points to make for him.
I thought he's out of prison.
So, okay, we were talking about something completely different before the stream went live, and I can't remember what
Who's sharing the nice rat bunnies?
Oh, that's still me. Sorry. But I know, these are our old rabbits. Not
what do you mean old?
Cute. But unfortunately, they both have passed away.
Oh, okay, explain. I see where that can go.
Do rabbits make good pets?
Rabbits make great pets.
Even better Sunday roast.
I was going for the
affectionate at all.
They make awesome pets, but they require a lot of time and attention. Really,
they do. They're so.
There's more work sometimes than with a dog, and dog you have to actually walk outside.
Yes.
And rabbit you don't have to, and you still need more time, attention, and actually money with it, because as soon as the rabbit stops eating, for example, you cannot wait to the next day with taking him to the vet, because the risk of him dying is very, very big. So it's not for everyone. It's really not. If people are busy with lives, stuff like that, I don't recommend rabbits if they have a busy job.
Or if they have nice stuff that doesn't want to get eaten.
Like we protected our couch.
Yeah, you can protect yourself against that. The thing is, sorry, go ahead, mate.
With me, rabbits are extremely safe. I don't eat them. I can't eat them.
Well, I won't lie. I've never ate rabbit, but I've never ate my pets, and I won't.
No, absolutely.
Rabbits are delicious, but it depends on how they're cooked.
I have never had rabbit, but then again, I'm not a vegetarian by any standards at all, right? I do eat meat, but I don't eat a lot of it. I mostly kind of stick to basically beef and occasionally chicken.
I respect vegetarians. I don't respect vegans, and there's a huge difference.
True that.
Yeah,
and both don't eat meat. Exactly. Vegans have a baggage, an ideological.
Justice warrior,
They have this ideological baggage with them that just makes them look crazy.
Well,
Vegetarian.
Like if you eat meat, you are literally like a Nazi. Like if you start saying that you're a meat eater, they bring up Nazi Germany and animals are the Jews and whatnot.
I was accused by two vegans. This was some time ago, of being a literal rapist, murderer, all the names. I just laughed at him. And I presented, when he called me that, I just put in the most meatiest picture I could find. Roast beef, bacon, even though he was Jewish, and so on, because he was being an idiot vegan. Now, vegetarianism.
Yeah, but there are vegans who want meat eaters to get the death penalty because we eat meat. You know?
When I was in seventh grade. When I was in seventh grade, I had a friend of mine who had watched, what was that documentary that everyone likes to show that turns people into vegan or vegetarians for like a week? From Fork to Table or whatever, Slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah,
he had wound up watching that, and he comes into school the next day. He normally buys his food, but he comes to the school the next day with a homemade, shells stuffed with cheese. I looked at him and I was like, "What the hell are you eating?" And he said, "I've decided to go vegan or vegetarian, one of those two." I don't remember which one he said, but he wanted to do that one. And I said, "So, how long do you think this is gonna last?" And he was basically hoping forever. By the end of the day, I had basically shoved a beef jerky stick into his face and got him eating it. Like I kept bugging him all through lunch. I was like, "Are you sure this is the path you want to go through? Is this really the moral choice that you want to make? Are you 100% certain you want to do this?" And our school used to sell these beef jerky sticks for our agriculture class or whatever. They came in a bunch of flavors, but I got him one of them. And at the end of the day, while we were sitting on the bus, I stuck it in his face and I said, "So you've gone all day without eating meat. Are you sure you don't want this? Because if not, I will eat it." So as I started to open it, he took it from my hands and ate it.
It's the thing, though. I always like to say, I'm not vegetarian. I'm semi-vegetarian. I prefer to eat meat that has only eaten vegetables.
I don't know. I would have to say I'm not vegetarian, but I do like bacon.
My wife has four lambs, right? They're just basically grass cutters. Mm-hmm. Now, the other day she killed one of the rams because I have 2 rams, and it's in my freezer. that small ram is juvenile. He's still perfect. He is going to make. I've already said to her, I want some to make mince so I can make a cottage pie. No, shepherd's pie.
So if you're
the rest,
sorry.
I was just going to continue that. I grow my own chickens. Well, we grow our own chickens. We raise them. I don't like anymore eating the one that you buy in the supermarkets and that. To me, I just buy the thighs for quick meals, but the rest of it, I can't eat the other chicken. I'm so used to my own that I raised, that me and my wife more than me, raised, and it's delicious. It's just different. It's just wow. So yeah, I'm very, very much privileged and what's that other word? I'm a bit drunk, so I can't think of the other word. Spoiled. Thank you. That's it. Spoiled for really good quality food.
Yeah, I have that problem, but it's not with meat, it's with cheese. I grew up, my parents used to always get the deli sliced cheese from the deli counter, and that was like what we'd always get, and my friends always got the Kraft singles.
Are you from Wisconsin?
No.
Oh, done. They're supposed to have the best cheese in America.
That's what I've heard. That is what I've heard. I want to try it.
Yeah, Iowa is also good. As is, what's that other state below that? Below Wisconsin, or close to it?
I'm sorry, I'm an American. As you might know, we don't have a working knowledge of our country, but we expect everyone coming in to do.
God, I'm super good at maths, but I just can't visualize it now. But anyway, I'm also spoiled for cheese. I love every single type of cheese. Everyone.
I am ashamed to say the only one that I've tried that I don't like is Swiss.
Yeah, well,
unless
Swiss,
it's melted.
Yeah. I'm going to sort of promote my. Portugal has a type of variety of cheeses called the mountain. It translates to the mountain cheese. Queijo da Serra, Serra. Serra is mountain or range, and cheese is that. It's a goat's milk cheese. It's liquid basically. It's really soft, right? And it's better than brie. It's better than brie. And it's sort of the same texture, really gooey in that. Oh God, I love that cheese.
I'm gonna have to try that.
So I'm spoiled for that. Yeah, it's really. Oh man, it's small. You cut the top off. Some people do cut the top off. It's got a hard rind. You cut the top off the rind.
Oh, so they circumcise it.
Yeah, sort of but that's the wrong way to eat it. You cut it as normal cheese you do, except that it's more moist than that. It's really runny.
See, I've always had a preference for Parmesan and like Gouda.
Gouda. We have our Gouda type cheese, which is called Flamingo.
Flamingo.
We call it Flamingo because from the Flemish area of Europe. It includes the Netherlands and the Belgian part, and we also have good cheeses of that. Even one close to us, it's really nice. I love cheese. My dad instilled me with the love of cheese that we eat between us about 2 kilogram balls per week.
So you must shit like once every 3 months, right?
No. It's our dessert. It's our dessert.
Cheese is great.
Cheese is fucking awesome. Yeah, I love cheese, man.
Also, side tangent, but because you mentioned flamingo, so I got thinking on birds. So I have a question for everyone, just to display my complete lack of intelligence. Where do you think 42? Correct, Modwayne. 200 points. You want to go for your daily double? Anyway. No. So, where do you think peacocks come from? Like, what part of the world?
India.
Yeah, the Indian subcontinent, Burma, about that area. Yeah. No, yep.
So, would you ever expect to find them in America?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
In the
wild?
wild?
Yeah, they have them here in Portugal as well. Yeah.
I did not know that. So we have.
They are part of the peasant family.
We have peacocks running around my friend's neighborhood because it's a bird sanctuary. I did not know that they were there. So I'm driving down the road the other day, and I see 3 of them standing in the road, and I freak the fuck out.
But that's because when people start migrating, they take with them pets and animals they eat.
Yeah, and I got it's like how the fire ants got everywhere and so on and so forth. You know, they jump, they migrate. But I didn't think peacocks could survive here.
Oh yeah, they can survive.
They can, of course they can.
Listen, look at Australia. Australia has a huge rabbit problem. They really have a huge rabbit problem.
I didn't know they had sex that often.
But it's because
I mean, if you got that much of a problem, let's try some sex education in the schools. I mean, shit.
This is the problem with every animal that is not native to Australia. The rabbits breed like rabbits there. They have to develop every certain a stronger myxomatosis.
Yeah, but the problem with creating myxomatosis and VHD,
it comes back to Europe and fucks up Europe's rabbits.
No, see, the problem with every animal that's in Australia is that after it's been there for about 50 years, it suddenly has poison glands somewhere on its body and it wants to kill you.
No, this is not true for rabbits. Even in Australia, rabbits are...
No, the rabbits don't.
You know what? Watch. At some point, it's going to happen. The fucking platypus has poison glands in its goddamn feet. I expect the rabbit to grow them in its tail.
Up in Australia, the rabbit, the platypus is native to Australia, but they have a problem with foxes. They have a population of foxes that is way out of control because foxes are fucking smart as shit. You should
try and Google spider rabbits on Google Images. That gives some interesting results.
Yeah, well, let's get back to science.
Let's keep your blue waffle out of this conversation.
Foxes basically populate the areas where you can't discharge a firearm. Cities. They live in cemeteries, and then they forage.
Yep.
Right? So they just grow. And then you have wild boar. Wild boar are extremely populous in Australia. And cats. Cats are also another problem species. And starlings for the British friends, which
starlings.
You know what else is a really bad species?
The bird starling.
Especially during the summertime.
Vicious if you kill them and make a sort of a pie with them, because they're just like quail basically. But here,
you know what else becomes a
really bad mode.
You know what else becomes a really bad problem species, especially in coastal cities around the summertime? Really bad in Australia. The redback spiders. They're everywhere.
I had one. I killed a colony in my garden. I am an arachnophobe, but I fear the shit of them. But I've killed them when I lived there in my garden.
Well, yeah, but
guys, I'm going to interrupt. Considering that we've been here for more than 2 hours, I want to end the stream, and we can talk about animals next time, because it's a funny and interesting subject. Carlos knows a lot about animals in Australia, what with him having been there.
I know a lot about rock music in Australia.
Chisel, best rock band in Australia.
Fuck you, ACDC.
Come on.
Fuck you, ACDC. Best rock band in Australia.
Midnight Oil.
Don't make music. Anyway, anyone wants? Let's do our shill round. Who wants to go first, shilling for themselves or someone else?
Okay, you should totally subscribe to my channel because I'm losing subscribers.
Okay, yeah, subscribe to Rambling. He's pretty funny.
I can be.
Who's next?
Well, I know I was quiet, but you can subscribe to me. It's Futternut here.
Yep.
Or Futternut A.
It's Futternut A. What happened to Futternut B? Did you kill him?
Ate him.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway, who's next? Rin? Axel? Carlos?
No. I don't want to show my channel. God damn it. Too embarrassed.
Then show mine.
Okay.
Yes. People, please subscribe to all of these awesome, really awesome people. This is from my heart. They are my dear friends.
Yes.
We love you too, Carlos.
I love all of them.
I love you too, Carlos.
Watch my channel. We're having a Pink song coming out very soon. A Lazy Green song, basically.
A Pink song.
Yes. Anyway, I'm going to call it quits now. Thank you very much for coming, everyone in the chat. I hope you had a good laugh. Really enjoyed.
We had a good life too.
Hey, we haven't been to those peaceful protests yet. Don't be talking our eulogies.
Anyway, I really had a good time. This was a really fun stream, and I would like to thank everyone for coming. And this is when I'm going to wave bye-bye. You're not seeing it, but I'm waving bye-bye.